How you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the newest figures released for DC Collectibles Essential line with Shazam and Black Adam. Now these two are being released as a 2-pack. It's the first time we've gotten a 2-pack for the Essentials line. It comes packaged in a similar style that we see with the regular figures. With this one, you've got red and white on the box to match Shazam. Up at the top, you've got the DC Essentials name and the characters' names. And on the very top, we've got lightning bolts for both Black Adam and Shazam. And then down at the bottom, we've got the DC Collectibles logo. On the side of the packaging, there's an image showing off both of the figures. It also tells us that these figures are number 9 in the series. And then on the back of the packaging, we've got a bio for the 2-pack, a look at the 2 figures, and then down below a look at all the other DC Essential figures that have been released up until this point. And at the very bottom, it tells us these figures were sculpted by Paul Harding. All right, let's get these open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside the packaging. Now, first of all, let me just say a big thanks to the folks at DC Collectibles for sending me this set so I could review it for you guys. Now, there are no accessories included with these figures. Essentially, you just get the 2 figures, hence the name of the line. Okay, so we'll start off looking at the Shazam figure, which I think is the better of the 2 figures. I do like this head sculpt. The Shazam head sculpt looks good. Looks like he does in the comics. He's got kind of a smile on his face. I like the paint applications with the skin tone. The eyes look good. He's got blue eyes. He's got the black hair. It's solid black. But again, I think it's pretty much in keeping with the style he has in the comics. Now with the cape, he does not have a hood. He's just got this extra little folded over piece, and all this is sculpted as one, but this does stick out a little bit. And you know, it's white with the gold trim, which I think looks pretty good. And the cape comes over his shoulders and attaches here at the neck. And you've got these little gold circles, which are actually sculpted on there. Then you have the lightning bolt, which is just painted on the figure. It's solid looking. There's no paint blemishes or anything, but it is just painted with the metallic gold and the white. Then you have the belt, which is a separate piece, and pretty nice detailing there with the little lightning bolts and the circles, so that's in keeping with the comics. It's glued on there so it doesn't move or anything. Then you have the wrist bracelets, which are done with the metallic gold, and those are sculpted on there, and those look pretty good. And then the rest of the figure is primarily just that red color. There's no wash or anything. It's just a solid red. The body incorporates that same mold that we've been seeing with a lot of the figures in this line. And then you've got the boots, which you have some nice sculpting detail with the little pattern there, and again with the metallic gold and the white, which matches the rest of the figure, so no real complaints there. So overall, you know, I think this figure does a pretty, while it's basic, it does a good job of incorporating the look of Shazam, and you know, and I think fits in well with the other figures in this line. Now on to the Black Adam figure. So first thing, we'll go over the positive with this one, and I do like this head sculpt. It is different from the Shazam figure. He's got more of an angry expression on his face. He's got different eyebrows and the whited out eyes. The skin tone is good, and then he's got the slick back black hair, which I think is again in keeping with how he looks in the comics. But beyond that, everything else about this figure is exactly the same as the Shazam figure, except for the paint applications. Instead of red, you've got black, but every other detail on this figure is exactly the same. And I do think that's maybe a little bit lazy on DC Collectibles' part. I realize that the looks of the 2 characters are very similar, so I don't mind that they share like the same body. I don't mind that they share things like the same belt and stuff, but I do think they could have maybe mixed it up a little bit, given us a different cape, you know, maybe one with a hood and some tattering on the bottom here, you know, something simple, maybe giving us a little more paint detail, you know. And as an example of, you know, things I think they could have done, you know, we can just look at their icon version of Black Adam that they did, and I think if they'd done things, you know, like giving us a cape like this, again with like the tattering on the bottom and the hood, I think that would have looked better. If they'd added maybe some paint detail on the lightning bolt, I think that would have looked good. So just some minor things I think they could have done to, you know, just kind of differentiate this figure a little bit more than what they actually did. Now just a quick note here, while both Shazam and Black Adam come with closed fists, if you want to take like an open hand from like the Superman Essentials figure, you can use it on the Shazam figure, you know, for flight poses and stuff. The hands are pretty much interchangeable between all these figures. Now both of these figures stand at the same height, coming in just a little bit over 7 inches tall. And then here's a look at the DC Essentials Superman and Batman figures. And again, all of these are the same height. They all use that same body mold. Now for articulation, I'm just going to go over it with the Shazam figure since it is exactly the same between the two figures. So you can turn the head to the left and to the right. And he can look down pretty good. It's on a ball hinge joint, and he can also look up good, which is good for flight poses. I do like that. You get a little bit of head pivot with this one. And then with the arms, you can get the arm out about that much. You've got good rotation there at the arm. You've got rotation at the bicep swivel. You've got a double hinged elbow, so good bending there at the elbow. And then you've got rotation with the hands and hinges on the hands, so good up and down movement there. You get an ab crunch joint with this one, so you can crunch forward about that much. And then he can look back about that much. You get a waist swivel with this one. With the legs, you can do the splits really good, and then you can get the leg forward good, and you can do the leg out and back. You've got a thigh swivel. You've got a double jointed knee, so good bending there at the knee. You've got a boot cuff swivel, and then hinges on the feet, so up and down movement, and you do have ankle pivot. And the joints are pretty tight on this one, so I don't think you have to worry too much about getting loose joints on this particular figure. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I would say, neither figure is bad. They both look like the characters from the comics for the most part. You've got good head sculpts with both of these, and you've got figures with good articulation, which is what the DC Essentials line is known for. So in that regard, I have no real complaints. I do, however, think that DC Collectibles could have done more on the Black Adam figure just to differentiate it from the Shazam figure, giving us something like a different cape or some added paint detail on the lightning bolt like they did with the Icons version, just to mix it up a little bit more than what they actually did here. But still, if you're a fan of Shazam or even Black Adam and you've been collecting the Essentials line, I think these are worth checking out. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to all those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.